Have you ever noticed how a woman's touch can feel like it speaks louder than any words she could say? There's a part of her body, one very specific spot, that if she allows you to touch it, signals something far deeper than mere attraction. Most men miss it. They think it's about flirting, texting back, or buying her attention. But this is not about the chase. This is about permission, subtle surrender, and an unspoken declaration of trust. And once you understand it, you'll see why she's already drawn to you. It's never about the obvious. Hands, arms, lips, they all matter. But there's one place where a touch crosses into something far more profound. This is the threshold of emotional intimacy. And here's the secret. She doesn't give this lightly. If a woman lets you touch this part of her body, it means she's already assessing you, testing you, measuring your presence against her own boundaries. And when she relaxes, even slightly, when she allows your hand to bridge the distance, it's because your energy has passed a silent internal test. Most men get confused here. They believe that women's physical cues are random, fleeting, or purely sexual. They misinterpret a laugh, a shoulder brush, or a casual hug. But the truth is far more psychological and far more revealing. Women subconsciously measure a man's confidence, reliability, and emotional resonance through how he approaches her body. It's never reckless. It's never accidental. She will not allow you to cross into that intimate zone unless she already feels a connection that goes beyond surface attraction. Imagine this, a moment of casual conversation, the two of you laughing, maybe teasing each other, and you find a way to gently touch this part of her body. Notice her reaction. Notice the subtle shift in her eyes, the way her body moves, the warmth that lingers even after your hand leaves. If she flinches or withdraws, it's a boundary, and respecting it increases your value in her eyes. If she leans in, smiles, or returns the touch, congratulations. You've stepped past the unspoken barrier into a level of intimacy most men never reach. This isn't manipulation. This isn't tricks or tactics. This is psychology rooted in understanding human behavior and female boundaries. She's testing whether you're attuned to her signals, whether you're aware enough to respect her body while still asserting your own presence. And this is the critical part. The mind behind the body is what matters. She's assessing your confidence, your patience, and your emotional intelligence all at once. If she trusts you in this moment, she's already imagining a deeper connection. Men often underestimate how much power this gives them. You're not just touching her body, you're touching her trust, her comfort, her willingness to let someone in. That specific part of her body is symbolic. It's the line between casual interaction and emotional intimacy. And most men fail here because they confuse desire with permission. Desire is common. Permission is rare. When she allows it, she's already signaling, you're the man I feel safe with, the one I want closer, the one I'm curious about. So pay attention to her micro reactions, the tilt of her head, the slight relaxation of her shoulder, the gentle exhale when your fingers brush past her arm. These are not random. They are coded messages. She's revealing a part of herself to you that she guards carefully, a part most men never even notice exists. And when you recognize it, when you honor it, something shifts. The dynamic changes. She sees you not just as a man, but as someone who understands her, someone who can be trusted, someone who already has her interest. And here's the unspoken truth that most men miss. When she lets you touch this part of her body, she's already imagining what it feels like to be even closer. She's already opening the door for a deeper connection, one that is emotional, physical, and psychological. She's already letting you into her world, but you have to see it. You have to recognize it. You have to respond with awareness, not impulsivity. Think about this as a test, one that she gives unconsciously, silently, almost invisibly. Passing it doesn't require force, charm, or grand gestures. It requires attunement, presence, and the subtle ability to make her feel safe and desired at the same time. And when you get it right, when you truly understand the significance of this touch, the entire game changes. She's no longer just interested, she's invested, intrigued, and already imagining a life where you are part of it. Let's dive deeper, because understanding this touch isn't just about physical closeness. It's about the map of her mind. Women carry invisible lines in their personal space, lines that define safety, trust, and emotional vulnerability. And the moment she allows you past that line, even just with a subtle touch, she's already evaluating you in ways most men will never consciously realize. She's measuring your timing, your confidence, your sensitivity, and your ability to respond without overstepping. Every slight hesitation or aggressive move can erase the connection in an instant. But when you get it right, when your touch is confident yet respectful, something shifts inside her, subtle, profound, undeniable. What most men miss is that this isn't about physical attraction alone. It's about psychological resonance. That specific spot, the one she lets you touch, acts like a doorway into her emotional world. It's where vulnerability and desire intersect. She's testing whether you can hold that duality, confident yet gentle, assertive yet attuned. She's watching your energy, not your technique. Your presence is more important than your hands. She's already imagining scenarios, possibilities, connections, all triggered by that simple, seemingly innocent gesture. Think about it. Every woman carries experiences, defenses, and emotional filters built over years. She doesn't just give away access to her body lightly because it's tied to her sense of security. When she permits your touch, she's effectively saying, I feel safe enough with you to reveal this layer of myself. And what she's really doing is testing if your respect matches her trust. If you respond clumsily, she withdraws mentally, even if she smiles outwardly. If you respond consciously, with subtle awareness of her reactions, she leans further into the connection, and her mind begins to associate you with safety, excitement, and emotional depth simultaneously. Now here's the key. Most men focus on her lips, her curves, or her outward displays of attraction. But the true indicator is the micro reactions, the gentle shifts in her posture, the way her shoulder relaxes, the small, almost imperceptible exhale that follows your touch. These tiny signals tell you more than words ever could. She's evaluating your alignment with her emotional frequency. The body is communicating what her mind is already leaning toward, and if you miss it, you lose access to a level of intimacy that few men ever experience. This is also why timing matters. Touch her too early before she's comfortable, and you trigger a defensive reflex. She will pull back, and you may never get the chance again. But touch her with the right rhythm, at the right moment, and you bypass words entirely. You create a silent language, a connection that feels intuitive, magnetic, almost inevitable. She doesn't have to say she's intrigued. Her body, in that instant, has already said it for her. Here's something else most men overlook. The more she permits this touch, the more her mind starts constructing scenarios where you exist in her life naturally. It's subconscious, but incredibly powerful. She imagines holding your hand in different settings, leaning in closer, sharing secrets, laughing at your jokes in ways she doesn't with others. All of this starts because she allowed that one touch, the touch that matters more than words or promises. She's opening a door to an entire mental landscape where you occupy a space of trust and attraction simultaneously. And here's the paradox. She's testing you, but she's also revealing herself. She wants to see if you can navigate her boundaries without breaking them, if you can move closer without triggering alarm. She wants a man who understands that intimacy isn't about possession, it's about attunement. And the truth is, most men fail because they confuse boldness with understanding, pressure with confidence, or aggression with attraction. The right man, the rare man, reads her signals, responds with awareness, and suddenly he's not just touching her body, he's touching her world. This is where the game changes entirely. The man who recognizes the significance of that touch doesn't just gain access to her body. He gains access to her emotional architecture, her subconscious signals, and her imagination. She's already considering him differently, imagining a future that includes him, seeing him as someone rare, capable, and trustworthy. And this isn't magic, this is female psychology. Subtle, but incredibly revealing. And most men walk right past it without noticing. Once she has allowed that subtle touch, the game changes completely. But only if you know what to do next. This isn't about escalating recklessly or moving too fast. It's about presence, awareness, and emotional resonance. Most men think attraction is a sprint, but the truth is, it's a slow burn. It's about layering trust, comfort, and curiosity in a way that makes her want to lean in, not pull away. She's already curious about you, but now it's your responsibility to maintain the magnetic balance between desire and safety, between challenge and connection. The most powerful way to deepen her attraction is to mirror her subtle cues without overdoing it. If she leans in when you touch her shoulder, you lean in slightly, but not aggressively. If she tilts her head when you're talking, you adjust your rhythm to match hers. These micro alignments send a psychological message. I see you, I understand you, I respect your boundaries. It's invisible, but it creates a profound emotional resonance. This is how a woman starts to feel that magnetic pull, that quiet certainty that you're someone rare in her life. Now, let's be clear. This is not manipulation. This is attunement. Manipulation pressures, forces, and distorts. Attunement harmonizes. When you become attuned to her reactions, her micro expressions, her breathing, and the way her body subtly shifts in space, you gain access to a level of connection that few men ever experience. She begins to feel safe, intrigued, and deeply curious, all at the same time. She imagines scenarios where you exist naturally in her life, not because she's being persuaded, but because she feels drawn. Here's the hidden truth most men miss. Emotional intimacy precedes physical intimacy. That touch she allowed is not just a gateway to attraction, it's a gateway to her subconscious world. Every subtle reaction tells you something about her desires, her boundaries, and the kind of man she's willing to invest her attention in. If you misread these signals, you risk undoing the progress entirely. But if you observe, adjust, and respond with calm confidence, you can escalate the connection without ever needing words to explain it. And there's more. She's constantly assessing whether your energy complements hers. Are you confident without being arrogant? Present without being suffocating? Attentive without being needy? Every micro moment you touch that specific part of her body, every pause, every gentle return gesture, signals whether you are the man she subconsciously wants to explore deeper with. She may never verbalize it, but her mind is running scenarios. Can I trust him? Does he understand me? Could he be someone I want close? The answers come from the subtle dance you're already leading. This is why timing and patience are critical. Push too fast, and the subtle trust she extended evaporates. Be too passive, and the opportunity slips away. But when you hit the rhythm of attunement, you create what psychologists call a flow state between two people. She starts to associate you with safety, intrigue, and pleasure all at once. Her body responds before her mind can rationalize, creating a magnetic connection that feels inevitable. And the fascinating part, once she allows that touch, every interaction afterward carries extra weight. A simple brush of the arm, a casual hand on the shoulder, a confident gesture in conversation, all amplify the bond. She notices the small things often subconsciously, and they compound her attraction. What began as a subtle permission now becomes a psychological thread connecting her interest, desire, and imagination directly to you. Finally, understand this. The moment she lets you touch that specific part of her body, she's already imagining a scenario where your presence is consistent, where your energy feels familiar, where your attention matters. She's already mentally rehearsing closeness, intimacy, and shared experiences. And if you navigate this correctly, respecting boundaries while maintaining confidence, you move from being just a man she's curious about to the man she's drawn to almost inevitably because her mind has already taken the first step. Now let's bring it all together, because this is where most men completely miss the point. That one specific touch isn't just a fleeting moment. It's a psychological turning point. It's her subconscious telling you that she's comfortable with you, that she's curious about you, and that she's already imagining scenarios where you occupy a place in her life. And here's the most powerful part. Once she grants this subtle permission, her mind begins constructing a narrative in which you matter. She starts replaying your gestures, your voice, the way your hand brushed hers, and she associates it with safety, intrigue, and desire all at once. This is why awareness and presence are everything. You don't need to overcompensate with grand gestures, expensive gifts, or rehearsed lines. She's not looking for performance. She's looking for attunement. Every micro movement, every pause, every gentle, confident touch reinforces her sense that you are rare, that you understand her, that you respect her boundaries while still engaging her curiosity. That specific part of her body becomes a symbol of her trust. And trust is far more powerful than attraction, far more durable than any flirtation. Once trust enters the equation, attraction accelerates on its own. Here's the subtle truth. Women communicate their desires through micro behaviors long before they ever speak them. That touch you noticed, the one that seems almost accidental, is her way of signaling interest without admitting it verbally. And because it's subtle, most men completely overlook it. They focus on what she says, not what her body reveals. But the moment you see it, honor it, and respond with awareness, you step into a different category entirely. You move from being just another man she talks to someone who holds influence in her mind, someone she imagines closer to, someone she already considers safe in a way few others are. But this isn't a license for recklessness. Respect is the linchpin here. She's not giving this touch to test your persistence. She's giving it to test your emotional intelligence. How you respond determines whether the door opens wider or closes entirely. Move with confidence, attunement, and subtlety. Let her reactions guide you. Observe, adjust, and mirror without overwhelming. This is where you cultivate an unspoken bond, a psychological connection that she begins to crave, often without realizing why. And the deeper that bond becomes, the more she imagines scenarios with you included in her life. Scenarios that feel natural, inevitable, and even comforting. Here's the final insight most men will never understand. The moment she allows this touch, her subconscious is already measuring you against a lifetime of experiences, relationships, and disappointments. She's assessing whether you are someone who can maintain that balance of confidence, sensitivity, and respect. She's testing whether your presence enhances her sense of safety while stirring intrigue. If you pass, she doesn't just see you as desirable. She sees you as someone rare, someone who understands the psychology behind attraction, intimacy, and connection. And that makes her not just curious about you, but invested in the possibility of you. So recognize the magnitude of this moment. That one touch isn't casual. It's a declaration without words. It's a silent invitation. And if you honor it, respond with awareness, and maintain the delicate balance of confidence and respect, you've crossed the threshold into her emotional world. She's already imagining you there, even if she hasn't admitted it to herself yet. Now, I want you to pause and think. If allowing that touch represents trust multiplied by curiosity, and curiosity is the spark while trust is the foundation, what's the equation that defines the strength of her attraction? Write your answer in the comments below. And if this video opened your eyes to the psychology women rarely reveal, like it, subscribe for more insights, and share it with a friend who needs to understand this subtle but powerful truth.